I want to show you a little bit about some code that I did that's very similar to what you need to do this week. If you recall, last week I shared with you a storyboard and some pseudocode for a game that I designed very quickly last Sunday based on a book that I read years ago, a science fiction book called The Haunted Stars. And this week I did what you need to do. I think I probably took it a little further than you're required to do this week, but this week you do need to turn some portion of that pseudocode you wrote for Module 5 into working code. So I've done that for my game, and it's very similar to yours. It's basically the same game with a little different storyline and window dressing and such. Um, in your game, I think you have to go into a series of rooms and collect artifacts, and then after you collect all of the tools or weapons, you go into a room where the dragon lives, and you confront the dragon. And if you have all the tools, you will win. If you do not have all the weapons or tools, the dragon will win, and you lose the game. Similarly, here we go into a series of rooms, and you have to collect all of the artifacts. These are not necessarily weapons, but they're things that you need. Some things provide information, some things you can reason with, and so that you can outwit the adversary, the villain, when you get into his room, his or her room. It's very similar. So I'm going to give you all of this code that I wrote, and you're welcome to study it and adapt it into your scenario. Now, I've made my code object oriented, and I don't think you may or may not be required to write classes and such. Although with Python, I think everything's going to be a class anyway. Although um, yes, even this is a class. Now, player is a class. Main is just a script. But everything else here is a class, and they have properties and methods. And so we have a player, a room class, and they're classes, but when you create an instance of the class, that is an object of the class. So you can have any number of objects of the room class, for example. But so the room class is sort of like a blueprint for the object, um, and it has these methods. And these properties. And this is the constructor. Every class has a constructor, and if you don't explicitly code one, it has a default constructor which does nothing but return an instance of the class. So, and I put together a README file. So I'm not going to go through all of this with you. I'm going to provide you some output from the game running at runtime when I was actually playing and interacting with it. All the output from the game. I've written some tests here. Test game engine. And I put some I put the output of when I ran those tests. But let's take a quick look. Well, you'll see that. Uh, it's late, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time or mine. But I do want to share this with you. So I am going to take a minute, though, to run the debugger here. So let's go back over to main. But first, let's go into the UI here. And now I have a breakpoint here. To set the breakpoint, you just click over here on the left-hand side on the row number. And when you click there, it'll put a red dot. Click again, removes the red dot. So that's a breakpoint. So at runtime, when you're debugging, and we're going to do that, if you want to run the program without debugging, and then it won't hit your breakpoints, then you would just hit this run symbol here, the little triangle. But if you want to debug, hit the little bug icon here. Okay, and be careful when you're typing in the commands here, because when you're debugging, because it will sort of try to auto-correct your command. And if you don't notice that and you could just hit enter, I'm not sure what would happen, but it may not be what you want. So here we're in the Stargate. Now I've got all these rooms connected up here. So if we're in the Stargate and we go north, we're going to go to the void mines. So we want to go north. So now it says that we're in the Grav Crystal. No, I'm sorry. We're in the void mines, and we see a Grav Crystal artifact. So we want to take it. See, it added something to take. So you got to back up and remove that. So now we've hit our breakpoint. So if you wanted to move on from that, you would just go down here, and of course you will want to move on. Now you can either step into this, so if this is calling another method, it would take you into that other method, or you could step over and just go on to the next method at the same level. And now we have threads and variables here. So this room is an object, and so is the self is the UI itself. So it has a player state, running equals true. Here's the player, current room, inventory. So here's the room. It has connections. So in the south it's connected, in the east it's connected. Now we went north from the Stargate to get to where we are now, so if you go back south you would get back to the Stargate. Description, item, the name. And so remember, we just said that we wanted to take the inventory, so this Grav Crystal is what we're going to put in our inventory, and that's what it's about to do here. So we're just going to step over that. And so now, notice in our inventory we have the Grav Crystal. And it's going to be, we're going to finally remove it from the room, because there's only one Grav Crystal. If I have it in my inventory, it can't still be in the room. So we're going to, or it can't be part of the room. So we're going to step over that again. And let's just go ahead and hit continue. And so here's all of the stuff that you saw that it said it was going to print. And let's see, what else do we want to do? we want to go east into the reactor core. And it's auto-correcting that east. We see the plasma key. We want to take it. And we've hit our breakpoint again because we put a breakpoint here where it handles the take command. So let's go ahead and remove that. Hit continue. So now notice we have 2 items in our inventory, and so on. So you just need to continue navigating north, south, east, and west into the appropriate room. Take the artifact. When you see all 6 artifacts in your inventory, then you would navigate to the astral lair. That's the villain's room. And when you get into the villain's room, right now it's a very simple game. When you get into the villain's room with all the artifacts in your inventory, then you win. So it's a very simple game, but a lot of fun. So I'm going to give you all of this, and I hope you enjoy all of this as much as I do. Good night. I'll see you next week.